Have you ever wondered, what happens when the world's most powerful country starts a trade war? What if the president decides to tax everything? Cars, clothes, food, even toys, coming from other countries? This is the story of Donald Trump, his bold tariffs, and how they changed America, its people, and the entire world. It is a story of promises and pain, of winners and losers, of power, pride, and money. Listen closely, because this is not just history. It is a lesson about economics and about the price of every decision. Chapter 1. The Big Promise. The night is loud with cheers. Donald Trump stands on stage smiling. Bright lights flash. Supporters wave flags. He has won the election. Again. Trump lifts his hand and says, "America will be great again, and stronger than ever before." The crowd roars. People chant his name. They believe him. But behind the cheers, there is fear. Factories are closing. Jobs are moving overseas. Many Americans feel left behind. Trump makes a promise. A simple, powerful promise. He says, "We will put tariffs on foreign goods. We will protect American workers." What is a tariff? It is a tax on goods that come from other countries. When a tariff is high, imported products cost more. This makes local products easier to sell. Trump believes tariffs are the answer. He says other countries are cheating America. He says trade deals are unfair. In January 2025, he becomes president again. In his first speech, he looks serious. "We will act fast," he says. "Factories will reopen. Jobs will come back, and other countries will pay the price." People clap. But some are worried. Business owners wonder, will my costs rise? Families whisper, will food and clothes be more expensive? Then Trump makes a bold move. He chooses April 2nd to be Liberation Day. On that day, he will sign an order. A 10% tariff on every single import. No country will escape it. The tariffs will begin on April 5th. Trump says it is only the first step. Bigger tariffs will come for China, Europe, Canada, and Mexico. He uses a special law called IEEPA. This law gives the president emergency powers, but using it for tariffs, that has never happened before. The news spreads fast. Television shows play his speech again and again. Markets shake. The dollar rises, then falls. In China, Europe, and Mexico, leaders meet in secret. They ask, how do we respond? In American homes, parents talk at the dinner table. Will our jobs be safe? Will prices go up? On April 2nd, the cameras are ready. Trump signs the order with a big black pen. He smiles. "This is for American workers," he says. "This is for freedom." Supporters clap. But outside the White House, protesters gather. Some hold signs. "No trade war." Others shout, "Stop raising our prices." The world has changed in one day. Tariffs sound simple, but they touch everything: food, cars, phones, clothes. They affect companies, farmers, and families. Will this promise save jobs, or will it bring chaos? Nobody knows. Not yet. The countdown to April 5th begins. 3 days left before the tariffs hit. Shoppers rush to buy goods before prices rise. Business owners call their suppliers in panic. And somewhere in China, a leader whispers to his aides, "Prepare our answer." The trade war has not started yet, but everyone feels it coming. The big promise is now a big risk. Will Trump win, or will America pay the price? The story is only beginning. Chapter 2, Liberation Day. April 2nd, 2025. The sun shines over Washington, D.C. Crowds gather outside the White House. Supporters wear red hats. Protesters hold angry signs. Inside, Donald Trump sits at a long wooden desk. Cameras click. Reporters whisper. Trump smiles. He lifts a black pen, and with one stroke, he signs the order. "Today is Liberation Day," he says. "America is free from unfair trade." The room explodes with applause. Supporters cheer. But some people stay silent. What did he sign? A universal 10% tariff on every import. Cars, electronics, clothes, food, everything from other countries will cost more. The tariffs will start in 3 days, April 5th. Trump says more tariffs are coming. "We will punish cheaters," he declares. The world reacts fast. Television screens in Europe show his speech. Chinese news calls it economic aggression. Canadian leaders promise to defend our workers. Markets shake. Stock prices drop. The dollar moves up and down like a roller coaster. In American homes, families watch the news. A mother whispers, "Will food be more expensive?" A father says, "Maybe cars will cost more too." A farmer in Iowa frowns. He sells soybeans to China. "If they fight back," he says, "I could lose everything." April 5th arrives. Cargo ships sit in American ports. Trucks line up at the border. Customs officers prepare new taxes. One by one, the tariffs begin. The price of imported goods rises. In New York, a shop owner counts his costs. "Electronics just went up by 10%, he says. "Do I raise my prices or lose money?" In Texas, a car dealer looks at his lot. Many of his cars are made in Mexico. Who will buy them now? He wonders. But Trump is happy. At a rally that night, he shouts to the crowd, "Factories will open again. Jobs will come home." Supporters cheer wildly. They believe the tariffs will save their towns. Yet in Europe, leaders meet in secret. One says, "We cannot stay silent. Another answers, "It's time to fight back." Days later, China announces its answer. A 25% tariff on U.S. goods. Soybeans, corn, pork, and cars are all targeted. Canadian and European leaders do the same. They tax U.S. products in return. The trade war has started. No one knows how far it will go. Jobs are at risk. Prices are climbing. The world economy begins to tremble. But Trump feels strong. "We will win," he says. "America always wins." Behind the smiles, advisors worry. They know history. Trade wars can hurt everyone. The first battles are not fought with guns. They are fought with taxes. A mother buys milk for her children. It costs more. A farmer tries to sell his crops. No one buys. And in Beijing, a Chinese leader whispers, "We will hit them harder next time." The promise has become real. The price of that promise? Nobody knows yet. But one thing is clear. This is only the beginning. Chapter 3. A trade war begins. The news spreads like fire. China, Canada, Mexico, and Europe strike back. One by one, they announce new tariffs on U.S. goods: soja, cars, pork, whiskey, airplanes. Billions of dollars are now at risk. On a farm in Iowa, a man named Jack walks through his soybean fields. He looks at the sky. "Last year, China bought half my crop," he says. "This year, maybe nothing." His wife holds the family bills in her hand. The numbers are rising. But their income is falling. In Detroit, workers at a car factory get bad news. Their plant will close for 2 weeks. The company cannot afford the new costs. A man shouts, "I have 3 kids. What do I do now?" In Washington, Trump holds another rally. "We are winning," he says. "Factories will come back. Other countries will pay." Supporters cheer. But some advisors worry in silence. An economist whispers to a reporter, "Tariffs are a tax. Americans will pay too." By summer, prices climb. Milk, bread, and eggs cost more. Electronics rise by 10%. Cars go up by thousands of dollars. Families feel the pain. A mother in Texas says, "I just paid $20 more for groceries. How long will this last?" Other countries are not afraid. China announces another blow. A 34% tariff on American goods. Canadian and European leaders do the same. Mexico raises tariffs on pork, apples, and cheese. A Canadian minister says on TV, "We will not be bullied. We will defend our workers." Markets shake again. The stock market drops. Big companies delay new investments. An American CEO says, "We can't plan. We don't know the rules anymore." Farmers cry out for help. Tractors sit idle. Soybeans rot in storage. The government announces billions in farm aid. But Jack, the farmer, just shakes his head. "I don't want aid. I want buyers." Trump does not step back. He raises tariffs on steel and aluminum to 50%. He adds 25% tariffs on cars. Some goods now face effective tariffs near 80%. A trade war is no longer just an idea. It is here, and it is growing. But Trump feels strong. This is leverage, he says. We will get better deals. In Beijing, leaders smile quietly. They plan their next move. One says, America is hurting its own people. We just have to wait. By the end of the year, U.S. companies have lost billions. Exports fall. Job growth slows. A government report shows 245,000 jobs have been lost because of the trade war. But Trump tells the crowd, we are closer than ever to a great victory. Who is right? Who is wrong? The world watches. The fight is far from over. And the next battle will not be easy. Chapter 4. Families feel the cost. Summer turns to autumn. Shops raise prices. Bills grow heavier. The tariffs are no longer just numbers on paper. They are now real. Real in every store. Real in every home. In a small town in Ohio, Sarah walks through a supermarket. She holds a list in her hand. Milk, bread, eggs. She stops. The prices are higher again. $10 more than last week, she whispers. Her son tugs at her sleeve, holding a box of cereal. She shakes her head. Not today, honey. In Texas, Mike owns a car dealership. Many of his cars come from Mexico. Since April 5th, their price has climbed by thousands of dollars. Sales are down. Mike sits in his office, staring at empty chairs. I may have to fire 2 workers, he says softly. The tariffs hit everywhere. Phones from Asia, clothes from Europe, toys from China. Families feel trapped. They work the same hours but spend more money. Factories start cutting jobs. A steel plant in Pennsylvania closes one section. Hundreds of workers lose their paychecks. One man cries, I voted for Trump. He promised jobs. Not this. In Iowa, Jack the farmer watches his soybeans rot in storage. China has stopped buying. A government worker hands him a check for farm aid. Jack takes it, but shakes his head. I don't need charity, he says. I need markets. News reporters travel across the country. They see frustration, anger, and fear. An economist explains on TV, tariffs are taxes. Businesses pass the cost to consumers. That's why everything costs more. Trump does not back down. At every rally, he smiles. Factories are coming back, he says. Other countries will pay, not you. Supporters cheer, but in their hearts, some wonder. Why is life getting harder? By winter, the numbers are clear. Prices have risen by 3 to 9% on many goods. GDP growth slows. More companies delay investments. Even big brands, car makers, electronics firms, freeze their hiring plans. Families cut spending. Vacations are canceled. Restaurants sit half empty. The economy is not collapsing, but it feels weaker. Meanwhile, China smiles. Its tariffs hurt American farmers and manufacturers. Other countries like Canada and Europe hold firm. A European leader says on TV, "If Trump wants war, we will fight back." One night, Sarah sits at the kitchen table. She looks at her bills. "We can't save any money now," she tells her husband. "Everything is too expensive." Her husband nods. "And my company just froze raises for the year." The promise of jobs and growth now feels far away. People start asking the question that no one asked before. Is this really worth it? But Trump is not finished. In January 2025, he plans a new move. Higher tariffs, more battles, bigger risks. The country waits. Some still believe. Some have lost hope. And far away, in China and Europe, leaders whisper to each other, "Let him continue. America will weaken itself." Chapter 5. The Courtroom Battle. Winter, 2025. The White House glows with lights. Trump speaks at another rally. "We are winning the trade war," he says. The crowd cheers. But not far away, in a quiet courtroom, a storm is rising. A small company called VOS Selections Incorporated files a lawsuit. They import wine from Europe. The new tariffs are destroying their business. Their lawyer stands before the judge and says, "The president has gone too far. These tariffs are illegal." The case begins. It is called VOS Selections, EnglishDavis. Trump. The company argues that Trump used the IEEPA emergency law in a way it was never meant to be used. They say Congress never gave him power to create tariffs on everything. Government lawyers fight back. They say the president has full authority. This is national security, they argue. The world is taking advantage of America. Weeks pass. The courtroom is tense. Reporters wait outside for news. Americans debate on TV. Some shout, "Let Trump act. He is protecting jobs." Others say, "No president should have this much power." On May 28, 2025, the decision comes. The federal court rules. Trump's emergency tariffs are illegal. The judge says the president exceeded his authority under IEEPA. A permanent order is issued to stop collecting those duties. News spreads across the world. Some cheer. Businesses clap their hands in relief. A CEO in New York says, "Finally, someone stopped this madness." But Trump is furious. At a press conference, he shouts, "This is unfair. The courts are against the people." The government immediately appeals the decision. Trump vows to fight all the way to the Supreme Court. For now, tariffs remain in place while the appeal continues. Markets react wildly. Stocks jump up for a day, then fall again. No one knows what will happen next. Farmers are still suffering. Families still pay more for groceries. Nothing has truly changed yet. But behind closed doors, Trump's advisors are worried. One whispers, "If we lose in court, the tariffs will collapse. Our leverage will vanish." Another answers, Then we must win the next battle, at any cost. Meanwhile, in Europe, leaders meet secretly. They wonder if Trump is now weak. A German minister says, if the courts block him, maybe we can force a deal. But Trump has a plan. A new trade deal with Europe. He believes he can turn the court loss into a political victory. The trade war has become more than taxes. It is now a war of law, power, and ego. Who will win? The courts? The foreign leaders? Or Donald Trump? The world watches, because the next move will change everything. Chapter 6. A Deal with Europe. July 27th, 2025. The air in Brussels is tense. Flags of the United States and the European Union wave side by side. Reporters fill the room. Cameras point at two empty podiums. Everyone waits. Suddenly, doors open. Donald Trump walks in, smiling confidently. Next to him is Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission. They shake hands for the cameras. But their smiles hide weeks of bitter negotiations. For months, Europe and the U.S. fought a silent war of tariffs. American goods became expensive in Europe. European products became costly and the U.S. factories slowed. Farmers lost money. The world economy shook. Both sides were tired. Both needed a deal. Trump steps to the podium. Today, he says proudly, we have a historic agreement. A great deal for America. Ursula follows. This deal is good for Europe too, she says calmly. The agreement is simple but powerful. Tariffs on many European goods will fall from 30% to 15%. In return, Europe agrees to buy more U.S. energy and invest in American projects. The U.S. also cuts tariffs on aircraft parts, computer chips, and some farm products. But steel tariffs stay high at 50%. Trump says, steel is vital for our security. Markets react fast. The U.S. stock market jumps. European companies breathe easier. A CEO in Germany says, finally, we have stability. But not everyone is happy. American farmers still struggle. A man in Iowa says, this deal doesn't bring back my buyers in China. A steelworker in Pennsylvania smiles. Trump is protecting us. That's all that matters. Trump declares victory. They said we couldn't win, but we did. We got billions for America. Supporters cheer at rallies. They believe Trump has forced Europe to bow down. But in private, European leaders feel different. A French minister whispers, we gave him less than he thinks. He cannot fight everyone at once. Economists study the deal. Some say it helps reduce tensions. Others warn that the trade war is far from over. Prices for imported goods are still high. Many companies remain cautious. That night, Trump tweets, America wins again. The EU gave us a fair deal, more to come. But advisors know the truth. The deal is only one battle in a bigger war. China watches closely. Its leaders see Trump's success with Europe. They prepare for their own negotiations or their own fight. The trade war is no longer just economics. It is about power, pride, and global influence. Trump feels stronger than ever. But every victory comes with a cost. Who will pay that cost? American families, foreign countries, or the entire world economy? No one knows. Chapter 7. The Winners and Losers. The deal with Europe brings hope. Markets rise. Trump celebrates at rallies. But for many Americans, life is still hard. Prices remain high. Jobs are still disappearing. Who is winning? Who is losing? The U.S. government counts billions in new tariff revenue. Reports show nearly $50 billion collected. Trump calls it a big victory. Other countries are paying for our greatness, he says proudly. Yet economists warn. Tariffs are a tax. It is Americans who pay more. And they are right. Families feel it every day. Sarah in Ohio spends $30 more each week on groceries. Mike in Texas sells fewer cars. Most of them are too expensive now. Jack in Iowa still can't sell his soybeans. Some workers gain, but only a few. In Pennsylvania, a steel worker smiles. Our plant is busy again, he says. The 50% steel tariff protects his job. But for every job saved in steel, others are lost in farming, car manufacturing, and electronics. A new study shows the truth. Tariffs saved some factory jobs, but the trade war caused 245,000 job losses overall. The gains are small. The pain is big. Trump does not admit defeat. At a rally, he shouts, "Factories are coming home. America is strong." Supporters cheer, but some whisper to each other, "Are we really better off?" Big companies are also struggling. A CEO says, "We lost millions in exports. We can't compete with higher costs." Another warns, "We are moving production overseas to avoid the tariffs." Even some of Trump's allies in Congress begin to worry. One senator says privately, "This cannot go on forever." The economy is slowing. But Trump sees things differently. He believes pain now will bring power later. "We must fight to win," he tells his advisers. "If we give up, America loses forever." The winners? The U.S. government collects billions. A few industries, steel, aluminum, are safe for now. The losers? Farmers, exporters, small businesses, and millions of consumers. The trade war is a strange game. Even victory feels like defeat. China watches carefully. It knows America is divided. Its leaders plan their next move. And Trump prepares for another round. "The fight is not over," he says. "Next, we go after China. Harder than ever before." But at home, families ask the same question again. How much more can we pay? Chapter 8. What happens next? Summer 2025. The deal with Europe has calmed the markets, but a bigger storm is coming. The real battle is with China. China has not given in. It has raised tariffs to 34% on many U.S. goods. Farmers, car makers, and technology companies feel the pain. In Beijing, leaders meet in a quiet room. One says, "America is hurting itself. We must wait. Trump will lose support." Another replies, "But we must be ready. If he attacks, we hit back harder." Economists in the U.S. warn about the future. If tariffs stay high, prices for clothes, electronics, and furniture will keep rising. Job growth will slow even more. The economy could shrink by almost 1%. At home, Americans are already struggling. Sarah in Ohio now buys less food. "We used to have pizza nights every Friday," she says. "Now, we can't afford it anymore." Mike, the car dealer, has fired 2 workers. He feels guilty. "They have families," he says softly, "but I can't pay them." Farmers like Jack have sold some land. They can't survive without buyers in China. Jack says bitterly, "Tariffs don't bring jobs back. They just kill farms like mine." But Trump is not giving up. At a rally, he shouts, "China has cheated America for decades. We will fight back harder than ever." Supporters cheer loudly. They believe Trump will win. Behind the scenes, advisors are worried. One whispers, "If China refuses to deal, the economy could crash before the election." On Wall Street, traders fear another market drop. Businesses hold back investments. A CEO says, "We don't know what tomorrow will bring. We can't plan." Experts debate on TV. Some say Trump's strategy is working. Other countries are giving in. Others warn, he is destroying global trade. America will lose in the long run. In Europe, leaders feel relief after the deal. But they are still nervous. A German minister says privately, "Trump got what he wanted from us. Now, China is next. China prepares." Factories there continue to grow. Other countries start buying more from China, not the U.S. America's global power is at risk. Families at home see none of this. They just see higher bills, fewer jobs, and less hope. One night, Sarah sits with her husband. "Do you think it will get better?" she asks. He shrugs. "I don't know. But if it doesn't, we may lose the house." The trade war is no longer just about economics. It is about pride. It is about power. And it is about the future of America. Trump says, bigger tariffs are coming. China will beg for a deal. But will they? Or will the world's second largest economy outlast America? Chapter 9, The Big Lesson. Autumn 2025. The trade war has been raging for more than a year. Tariffs have risen and fallen like waves. Deals have been made and broken. But one question remains. Was it worth it? Reports are clear. The U.S. government collected tens of billions in tariffs. Steel and aluminum jobs were saved. Trump forced Europe to accept a new trade deal. But the costs are heavy. 245,000 jobs were lost. U.S. exports to China collapsed. Families paid hundreds of dollars more each month for basic goods. Sarah in Ohio can no longer afford Friday pizza nights. Her husband says, "Groceries cost too much. We need to save every dollar." Mike in Texas sold his car dealership. "I couldn't keep up," he says quietly. Jack in Iowa gave up farming. "We survived droughts and floods," he says bitterly, "but we couldn't survive Trump's tariffs." Yet, at a rally, Trump smiles and says, "We won. America is respected again. Other countries pay, not us." The crowd cheers. But outside the arena, protesters shout, "Tariffs hurt America. Stop the trade war." Economists write new reports. They debate on TV. Some argue that Trump's tariffs gave the U.S. leverage. They say he proved that America can fight back. Others warn that the trade war damaged America's reputation and economy. They fear future leaders may copy his risky strategy. Europe feels relieved. It avoided a worse conflict. China feels stronger. It found new buyers in Asia and Africa. The U.S. feels divided. One journalist writes, "Tariffs brought both victory and loss. But in the end, American families paid the price." The lesson is clear, but painful. Tariffs sound simple. They promise protection. But they raise prices. They hurt trade. And they create winners and losers, not just abroad, but at home too. Late one night, Sarah watches the news. The anchor says, "The trade war may finally be ending." Sarah sighs. "I hope it was worth all this pain." Her husband shakes his head. "We may never know." Donald Trump walks onto another stage. He smiles and raises his fist. Supporters cheer his name. But far away, in Europe and China, leaders whisper, "The fight is not over. The world has changed forever." The trade war ends. But the story of power, pride, and economics continues. Was the promise fulfilled? Or was it all just too high a price to pay? Only history will decide.